Okay, you guys ready? Let's roll. We got a bit of a journey ahead of us. And it gets better and better as we go. Sure wasn't expecting this, let me tell you that. Anyways, we'll go slow. We'll get there. It's all good. Well, talk about crazy friggin' weather. Man, it's been doing everything. Last night, coming out, it was, well, yesterday afternoon, evening, it was snowing like mad. Absolutely sideways. And then the snow, that was kind of where I took that little bit of video, was kind of at a higher point to the highway, but it snowed most of the way out. And then I think sometime throughout the night it changed to rain. And now it's been raining and hail and snow and frag. It's crazy. It's unreal. So yeah, I just figured some fresh deer shit. Nice to see some deer sign. I figured I would bugger off for a couple of days and do a little bit of scouting and whatnot. Fishing is definitely over. I'm really on high alert. High alert this time of year because the bears, it's it's early March, but the bears, they could be out now. You never know. Like, could be denned up, it could be out. It's kind of a 50-50 right now, so kind of really watching where I'm going and definitely watching for any sign of them. I got my Defender with me. A lot of times when I go out, especially in the wintertime, I don't pack my Defender. I just don't pack the Defender because no need, right? But if I'm out scouting spring and then later on in the spring, especially later on in the spring, definitely bring the Defender with me. So yeah, the plan is I've been on the move now for probably 4 hours. I've probably gone about 10K, 6 miles, 7 miles. Pretty steep country in here, man. It's pretty steep country, and I got some more super steep shit to go through, but what I want to do is, here, I'll see if I can show you guys where I'm hoping to get to. There's a bit of snow up there, but I want to get up this draw here. This draw cuts over that way, and there's a little valley back in there. There's definitely snow up there, but there's a little valley back in there, and there's a pretty good sized herd of elk in there. It goes up and then drops down, and there's some old logging slash in there. It's quite a ways. It's probably another hour and a half, but there's some old logging slash in there, and I'd like to go in there and see if I can maybe find any tracks or whatnot. There's a bit of snow up there, but there ain't much. And like I say, I'll have to go through the snow, and then it drops down into the next draw, and that's kind of where the elk usually winter. So I wouldn't mind going checking that out, see if there's any elk around. Just nice. I like to keep tabs on these animals, you know, especially when I know there's herds in certain areas. I like to keep tabs on them, and it's just, pardon my language, I can't get enough of being out here. So I know that's kind of where they winter, because they're up in those higher mountains. Like up in there throughout the most part of the year, during the hunting season and stuff, and then they go down into the lower areas to winter. And there's no vehicle access in here. These logging slashes, all the roads have been deactivated. Some of the roads you can barely walk. But anyways, yeah, the roads have been deactivated. So I'm going to carry on here for a little bit, and then I'm going to take a break, and I might take a break for half an hour, and then before I make the climb up to the top, maybe show you guys. I didn't bring bugger all with me on this trip. Like, I brought my gear. You know, I got my saw, got my axe, I got my snare wire, got my knives, got my tarp, got 4 hornbeat bars, and who knows, might find a hare or something out here guy could snare. So it went pretty skinny, as I always do. I don't like to camp in luxury. No, it's not me. I like to camp. I like to kind of rough it, and makes you really appreciate the good things when you get home. So didn't bring much with me, but I might stop up here, take a little break, and I was thinking about showing you guys a couple of things. I was thinking about showing you how I do this L7 trigger for snares and for fishing and whatnot. I thought that'd be a good thing to share with you. So these little alders here are perfect for this L7 trigger. So I'm gonna whack down a couple of these with my trusty hatchet, and I'll whack down a couple and build you guys an L7 while I have a little break. Oh man, perfect stump for me to sit on. So nice little alder. You don't need a very long one, and it doesn't need to be very big around. So this one here is this alder's probably about as big around as my thumb. That's really all you need, and you only need about like 2 feet max. So I'm gonna cut off some of this as well. I don't need that much. I'm gonna cut a bit of this off. I need to take a break anyways, man. My knee is not getting any better. It's not good. I gotta get it checked, but I don't know. It's hard to find a doctor here in Canada now, let alone a surgeon. And then if you do find him, you can't really get much done. So anyways, with this L7, what you want to do is just sharpen down one end of this. So for part of this trap, or it's not a trap, okay, this is not a trap, this is a trigger for a trap. Simple. That end's going to go into the ground. And then what you're going to do is you're going to want to cut that about a foot long, roughly. Okay? It doesn't need to be exact. Cut it however long you want to cut it. It's your trigger. It's a nice thing about being out in the woods, man. You can just do whatever the hell you want. You don't have anybody telling you what to do. All right. That's the part that's going to go into the ground. So what you want to do on this part here, thought I heard something. So what you want to do on this part here is find a pretty straight edge of the stick, which is going to be that edge there. Okay, and you're going to notch the top of this. Going to notch the top of that on a slight angle down. I'll show you once it's carved out. All right, and then we're going to get our knife and we're going to carve that away. I'm going to tell you something. You might want to use a knife, but honestly, me, I'm a hatchet guy. I do everything with my hatchet pretty much, so I'm just going to stick to it. Most of this can be done with a hatchet. Some of it you have to use a knife for the fine tuning, but if you guys have already seen this, then right on, you know how to make it. But there's probably a lot of people haven't, and it's a trigger that I love to use. So basically, there's your bottom stake with your groove cut into it. See how that groove has a bit of an angle at the top, a bit of an angle that way. Okay, you don't need to do much. Okay, that is your 7. All right, and then from there, God, it's like it gets cold and then it warms up a little bit. Then it gets cold, then it warms up a little bit. It's crazy weather. It's always colder once you stop walking though too, right? All right, second part of the trigger. Now the second part of the trigger can be smaller, but we're going to build the trigger mechanism first. So, what do? What do? You basically do the exact same thing that you just did on this one, on the previous one, on your ground piece. if you only have an axe, you can build this entire trap with or this entire trigger with an axe. Okay, so almost got her. Okay, so you your other piece. Okay, your other piece is like an upside. Well, this one's a 7. Okay, this one's an L. Okay, that's why we call it the L7. So now what you got to do is we're going to trim this one down just a hair. It's a little bit too long. See that Camillus hip hatchet with a saw blade? So that's your ground stake one, pointed one ground stake. Just cut the top off a little bit so that the trigger fits in there a little bit nicer, okay? And then this will make a lot more sense once it's all together. You guys will go, ah, got it. And again, if you've made one of these or whatever, good on you, man. But if you haven't, it's a very useful thing to have. It's a very useful skill to know for out in the bush. I've spent enough time out in the woods, you guys, so that I know what things are useful and what things are stupid and don't work. And you know what? I'm always open to new ideas, 100%. If I see something that somebody shows me that works really well, I'll learn how to do it and I'll do it. No doubt about it. But for the most part, I stick to what I know. And it's just, that's what I do. And my things, you know, the things I do, they tend to work, right? So there's your L piece. Okay, that's why we call it an L. And then what we need to do with this is we just need to carve. I'll show you once it's done. Because I forgot my glasses again. Can you believe it? All right, we're done. There's your ground stake. You drive that into the ground. There's your 7. Right? There's your 7. There's your L. Okay, and I'm gonna just go down to this little gully right below me here, get a flat piece of ground, and I'll show you how this thing works. Simple as that. Doesn't take long at all. Minutes. I'm gonna show you one of the uses for this L7. Is that a good one or is that a good one? Yeah, this is a good one here. Okay, you find a spot that you want to do a snare set, let's say. All right, what you do is you take the bottom part of this L7. Okay, that's the bottom stake peg. Okay, and you just drive it into the ground. Doesn't have to go in super far. All right. And then you take a piece of your paracord. Okay, so with your paracord, and you do have paracord, right? Because I told you to get some and carry it with you. So with your paracord, find you got to basically do a set like this somewhere that you've got like a nice alder like this that can be bent. And if you don't have, you know, if this is not the area that you're going to do your set, find an alder like this, a longer one, cut it down, stuff it into the ground really, really good. And you can do this set wherever you want. You don't have to do it. There doesn't have to be alders around. Like I say, you just cut this alder off. You can take it down to a pond or a lake or a river, and I'll show you what else you can do with this thing. Okay, and then what you do, now you've got your L piece, and at the top of that L piece, you can see at the top of this L piece, I kind of just notched the top of that stick. Okay, and notch the top of that stick to accept the cordage. All right. And then what you're going to do is tie that around. And I'm going to cut my paracord. I thought it would be useful to show you guys this, okay? Because trust me when I say this can be a very useful trigger mechanism. Okay, it's set right now, all right? But you're not done. So what you do here now, I'll just use another, I'm not going to use a snare. I'll just use a piece of paracord here. Okay, and then what you do is you tie this off. If this is your, now this is your, let's say this is your snare. All right, this is your actual snare wire. It's actually 100 times easier with snare wire because it's so thin, right? And you're not using snare wire, are you? What are you using? What are we using instead of snare wire? We're using picture frame wire. Why? Because it's cheaper. Man, I could have swore I just heard a big bang. Frickin' bizarre. I'm hearing things. Okay, there's your snare, and it's wrapped around the bottom of your L mechanism that's tied to your tree. All right. And then I'm gonna simulate a little bunny coming through here. Okay, so basically what happens, guys, what happens is little rabbit comes through your snare. Okay, comes through your snare. He pulls that, and look, he's up here now. Okay, the snare's around his neck, and he's up off the ground. Okay, 2 reasons you use something like that L7. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can just show this to you one more time. Super easy to set. Okay, you can set the sensitivity, whatever you need to do. Okay, there's your snare. Okay, little rabbit runs through your snare. He keeps running, boom. There he is, he's hanging. He's hanging by the snare. The L7's got him off the ground. Okay, L7 has him off the ground so predators can't get him. And it'll kill him instantly. Okay, so L7 trigger for a snare. The other place this thing is awesome. Okay, fishing line. Okay, you set it up on the bank of a pond. You put your fishing line instead of your snare wire. You huck your fishing line out with a little float of some kind on it or whatever. You know, maybe a little bit of bait on the end of the fishing line. All right, the fishing line's out in the water. Here's the fishing line out in the water. Fish bites. Right? Let's say the water's out here, your stick is over here. Fish bites, boom. It pulls, it releases the L7. It'll yard the fish right out of the water if it's not a huge one. If it's a real big fish, what it does then is it sets the hook, and now you've got a fishing pole. Okay, now you got a fishing pole. That fish can sit there and tug, and it's got some tension, and you will not lose that fish. Okay, you can set a ton of these L7s up along a pond, right? Fish bites, pulls, up he goes. Or, like I say, he's on the end of your rod. It's working while you aren't, okay? You set a whole bunch of these out on a pond, and these things are working when you're not having to work. So, use things that work, you guys. Use things that work, and you know, my old saying for me is, why fix it if it ain't broke, right? If you've got something that works, why try all this other shit that just might not work? There's tons of different traps systems out there, you know, as far as deadfalls and all that kind of stuff. That L7 is it's great for snares, great for fishing, and that's kind of what it's meant for. So anyways, that's enough yakking for now. I got to get up that mountain. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably around 1 o'clock or so. Be up over the top there by 2 o'clock. Hopefully I find some elk tracks and see, maybe we see some elk. Maybe we find a shed or something, right? So plan is get up there, have a look around for those elk. Gonna go down the other side, and I'll hit a river that I fish down. I don't fish the river way up there, but I do fish the river down at the bottom end. So I'm gonna hit that river, and I'm gonna work my way down that river because if I make the big loop, if I decide not to spend the night, I can make that big loop and head back to my side-by-side. If I do decide to spend the night, there's some great spots up there to do it, but I'll make the loop, get on that river, follow that creek down. It's not a river, it's a big creek. Follow that creek down, and there's some cool bear dens along there, and it'd be cool to get in there and maybe find a bear. You know, I'm not gonna disturb them. I just think it's cool, right? Like some people go, you're stupid. What the hell would you go do that for? I don't advise it, okay? I've found these dens years ago, and I've actually been right at those dens, and I'll stay 8 feet away, and I can use a light and shine a bright light in there, and I've been about 8 feet away and seen the bears in there sleeping, hibernating. The one den in particular, it's occupied quite often by a sow, and every other year, sometimes every year, but every other year for sure, she's got at least a couple of cubs with her. And of course, the cubs are born during hibernation, so she's got cubs with her in there, and yeah, kind of cool to see, right? Anyways, just cool to be out here, man. If you can get outside, get outside. You can get out in the woods, get out in the woods. Nothing better than Mother Nature, I'm telling you. Okay, enough bullshitting. I gotta get on the trail here. Let's go see if we can find some elk. Okay, I'm out. I've been on the trail of these elk now for like an hour and a half. I picked up the tracks of a herd. So I've been tracking them. I kind of want to see where they're going and what's going on with them. But look at this. So there's I I'm gonna keep that. I don't know what kind of hair that is. There is I'm gonna keep that hair so that I can get somebody to have a look at that for me. But there's here's a real clear set. There's wolves. There's wolves following these elk, and it looks like there's a cat. Looks like there's a cougar. course it's gonna frickin' start raining again. Just took a hell of a fall. Sorry about that, folks. Took a bit of a spill there. And it's gonna frickin' start raining again on me. I haven't been able to do much filming because of the rain. Yeah, that's a wolf. It's been just hammering down rain. Look at all the elk shit in here. Look at this. And of course, there's a wolf following him. I'm gonna turn this camera around here for you. You can see the breaking in the branches. Oh, a bunch of... Huh. These bear dens I was telling you guys about. What a shitty day. What a shitty day. Get across the creek. Funny, I don't always pack my Defender, but I know when to pack it and when I don't need to worry about it. When I'm out in bear territory like this, I pack it always. chances are they're still hibernating. So chances are they'll be in their dens, right? But I'm super careful when I sneak up on them. Oh yeah, here's okay. We're getting just up ahead here. I'll turn the camera around for you. Looks like they could be. I grab my light. All right, I got a little ways away from that. Got a little ways away from that den. I don't like to talk. I don't like to talk out loud or anything when I'm near them because there's a very good chance there could be a bear in there. So, and I mean, it is beginning of March now. So, beginning of March, so the bears they should be thinking about coming out soon. I am friggin' cold and wet. I do have a rain jacket in my pack. I've had a few people ask me what kind of rain gear I wear. They haven't seen me wearing rain gear a lot or whatever, but I do have rain gear. I have a rain jacket and I do have rain pants as well. If I'm out steelheading on the river, I wear my waders and my rain jacket. And then my rain jacket, if I'm out, just wandering, hiking, scouting, hunting, whatever, I carry that good rain jacket and my rain pants. Not often do I put rain pants on unless it's really hammering down because I wear my insulated jeans. But anyways, what I was gonna say is I got rain going down my back. I do have a rain jacket, and what I use on the river when I'm fishing and when I'm out hiking it's a Patagonia jacket. They're super expensive. Patagonia gear is really expensive, but it's just such good gear for on the river when I'm steelheading and stuff. It's unbelievable. Keeps me bone dry. It's got a great, it's got a hood on it. It's a great jacket. So it's a Patagonia river jacket. I love it. They're super expensive, okay? I mean, in my mind, they're expensive. Like that jacket was $500. But I've had it for quite a few years now, and it's unreal. So that's what I wear for rain jacket. And then I also have a set of Grundens rain gear. So Grundens, I got a Grundens jacket and a Grundens bib coveralls. I wear those out on my boat. Plus, I'll wear those when I'm hunting and stuff as well. My advice on any gear, if I can give you a piece of advice on your gear, is buy the best gear that you can afford. Somebody told me that years and years and years and years ago. A good friend of mine said, just buy the best gear that you can afford. And that's what I do. I buy the best stuff that I can afford. There's certain things that I don't cheap out on. My gun, I don't cheap out on any of my guns. I buy quality firearms. I don't cheap out on that, and I don't cheap out on optics, on binoculars, for hunting especially. I have a good set of Vortex optics, range finding. They're 5000 HD range finding binoculars. That's what I use. Okay, there's other things that I will go a little less expensive on, and again, I do the same thing. I buy what I can afford, right? And I did a job. These are kind of freaking spooky woods here. I did a job for a friend of mine a couple of years ago, and he gave me a gift certificate. I did it as a favor. He's a really good friend. I just did this work for him as a favor, and he asked me what he owed me at the end of it was 2 days work, and he asked me what he owed me, and I said, you don't owe me anything, man. You've done lots for me over the years, and I'm just, that's payback, right? Like, do unto others as you expect to be done unto you. So that's what I did. Anyways, I said, no, you don't owe me anything. He went out and got me a gift certificate for our local sporting goods store, and that's when I bought that Patagonia jacket. Was from my good friend. So, you know, if you're packing a gun, buy the best gun you can buy, because that's going to save your life. Keep hearing cracks, like, I don't know. Jesus, it's so slippery, man. I'm almost back to the ridge. Because you're all laughing at me, eh? Stumbling all over the place like a cripple. I feel like a cripple sometimes. Got a few things to send out to some subscribers. A few coffee mugs all in order. A few Outlaw Country coffee mugs. And man, I gotta rest this knee up. You know, that's what I need to do. I need to take a break. My wife has said that for 2 weeks now. Take a break, rest your knee. So I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna rest up a little bit, give this knee a rest, and then I'll be back at her. So, well, I just got back to the rig, and I'm friggin' beat. Oh. I'm beat, man. And I had to throw the rain jacket back on. So there's my Patagonia rain jacket. I had to throw it on because it started hammering again. It's just crazy. Like, it's rain and then snow and then hail and like unreal. And you know what? After a hard day like that, I like to have myself a cold beer. As I said, on the Vancouver Island, if you're not happy with the weather, wait 5 minutes. Okay, people. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to get the hell out of here. We'll catch you all later on. I'm out.